Welcome back to another episode of Hike, Heal, and Hustle. I am your host, Randy Black. I am joined in the studio with Miss Salena Clay. Selena is a wellness coach and a self-care alchemist. She and I actually met at an event, a Mother's Day event, and I was drawn to her table because she is hosting a wellness retreat that's local. And I have been looking for a wellness retreat. So I saw that and I was like, oh, let me see what they are talking about. And then she said the magic words because y'all know I am training to be a sound healer. And I was like, oh, and y'all got sound baths? I was hooked. So knew I had to have Selena on the show. She aligns with our mission of Height, Heal, and Hustle. She is a Black woman doing all the things. And so welcome, Selena, to the show. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? Introduce yourselves to the listening audience.
Well, thank you. So I am Selena Clay, also known as the Self-Care Alchemist for Salena Essentials, which is a wellness company that I started to help busy professionals reduce stress, boost their productivity, and live a life that they love. And how I do that is I offer natural products. So I handcraft body oils, teas, tinctures, and scrubs. I pair that with wellness coaching for individuals and groups, and I offer wellness retreats.
See, and I'm telling y'all that wellness retreat is local. It's coming up, and Selena's going to tell us more about it throughout the episode. So you got to stick around and find out how you can be a part of this wellness retreat. So on my show, we do all three pillars. I do it when I'm by myself. So when I bring guests on, they know they got to go through all three pillars. So the first is hike, of course. So we're going to go through, talk about Selena's journey toward physical reconnection. So let's get right into it. Selena, you ready?
Ready?
So what led you to the world of wellness and self-care? And how does your current corporate role support or influence this passion?
Okay, so I have been working in corporate environments for over 20 years. At the height of my career, I was working up to 60 hours per week. I had a one daughter who at the time was a high schooler. I had lost like 8 loved ones in the span of 6 years. So I was stressed out, I was burned out, and I had a lot going on at that time. And for me, I had a health scare. And so that stopped me in my tracks because one of the 8 loved ones that I lost was my daughter's father. And I didn't want to succumb to an illness. And so that sent me on the path to learn about my body and later to learn about herbalism. And so I've incorporated that into my wellness and self care journey. And the other part of your question is how does it relate to my current corporate role? So for me, it's a two-parter. So just right off the bat, the industry that I worked in, or I worked in several industries, but I worked primarily in finance and in accounting. And so it's deadline driven. It's always
Mm-hmm.
something that's due and it's very stressful. In my current role, it's more project based. And so I don't have to necessarily direct or manage a team. I manage systems, and in the project, I'm able to just be more creative. And so it gives me that, ooh, the woo side moments. And then another part of it is I'm using my corporate role to help me finance my passion. So with my business and, further develop myself.
It's funny that you said that you were in accounting, or that's where I work. So I get it. I get it. I you said that, I'm like, girl, that's me. I understand that. I've been working in accounting firms, CPA firms, for the last couple of years, and that is, if you want to know some stress and deadlines, that
Hmm.
they're all about deadlines. For I
Yeah.
know you know. Woo. So when you said, I was like, girl, yeah, I get it. And very mundane for me. There can be incredibly stressful, especially when you're dealing with other people money.
Hmm.
Yeah, that can be very 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 stressful. So what does movement or nature based healing look like for you?
So I'll go with the movement. So my mornings start with I get up, I get dressed, and I head to the gym. So I get in some weightlifting and I do a little bit of cardio. And then throughout the day, I take mindful breaks. So I'm walking around the neighborhood to get my body moving.
Good. I love that. So, you know, mine is hiking, but I also do I do walk around my neighborhood, but I also do lots of other things. I have a bike, an actual bike, not a stationary bike. I do, and I do in person races. Yeah, that. Anyway, I'm developing possibly a passion for that. I'm not there yet. I'm right now. I'm in the I'm just doing it phase. I'm not in the this is so much fun phase. it may be something. It may be something that I say I used to. It may be a used to do than a
Mhm.
current, but right now I would say that I kind of like it.
Mhm.
How many days a week do you go to the gym?
So I average, I'm gonna say 4 days a week. The
Wow,
five is, kind of pushing it, and I feel like I need that break, but it gives me that the refresh, that the reset that I need for the day. So it gets me started. I feel like it helps me be more focused, and I can have this sunny disposition.
it does change. It does help and change your mood. So, how did you experience stress in past corporate roles, and what are some of the key differences in your current less stressful environment?
So we spoke earlier about the accounting and just the deadlines are coming. I managed teams of people and I had to travel often because I delivered corporate trainings. And so those were on the go, stressful type situations. And in my current role, it's more project based, it's more flexibility and autonomy. And so that's really it's helped me. It really, when I say I work for a company, so my end goal still is to be able to 100% work in my business, but in the interim, I'm working for a company that prioritizes its employees' wellness. So that's a
Good.
great benefit.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna move into our second pillar of heal. So this we're gonna focus on emotional and mental health transformation. Okay.
Okay.
So you call yourself a self-care alchemist. I have been waiting for this, just so you
Oh,
know. So you're a self-care alchemist. What does that mean to you?
okay. So just to really summarize it is I've gone through a lot of adverse things, especially working in the corporate environment. And I have essentially taken my overwhelm and my stress and I've transformed that into just a life of calm and a life of self acceptance. This gray hair that you see, this is self acceptance.
I
It's
love
3 years in the making. So yeah, what I do is I have created that for myself, and I empower others to be able to do the same for themselves. Thank you.
when I saw self-care alchemist, I was like, one, I actually like the word. I do, but then I wonder, well, what does that mean to her? Like, if I were to say the word alchemist, I know where my mind would go. But then I thought one of the things I love about the English language is words can mean different things depending on how you use it. So I was really curious, and I love that you are a self care alchemist. So, what was your personal turning point that helped you prioritize your mental health?
So I want to add on a little bit to the self-care alchemist and answering my question, and that is, I was raised, I saw my parents and my grandparents, they gave to everybody. And that was the thing. And that's how I saw life. I gave until I had nothing else to give. And it really was in experiencing that health scare for me that it changed my life. So I had no choice but to learn to prioritize, my mental health and my well being.
In theory, Because I had a health scare, and I will tell you that it did make me think about it and try to prioritize it, but I actually didn't. I didn't start doing that until just a few years ago because I
Hmm.
had a major health scare in 2018 and then another one in 2023. So that's one of the reasons why I do hike, heal, and hustle because it's like your body is really, really sending you a lot of warnings here, and you really got me talking about myself. You really got to start listening. So that's why this is so important to me, and it's important to me to talk to other women who are in this space and who are showing who can share tips like you or who's in my opinion experts at doing this. And you went and you learned. I went and I learned a little while and then I stopped learning and then I got another one. Now I'm learning again. Sometimes it takes a couple knocks on the head. I'm
Yeah, and so I want to say that it wasn't just all peaches and cream because the same thing. So I made some changes, but it was like, okay, the shortness of breath, and then the feeling of being tired and your heart hurting and not
oh
knowing what's going on, that was
yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to experience what I experienced before. So yeah, I had a few bumps on the head. It wasn't just that road to.
Make me feel a little better. I guess. I'm always in awe of people who are able to start it and keep going.
Mhm.
I think I did pretty good, but there were times when I was like, you really should do better. Like now, like I still have those issues now. So, how do you help professionals recognize the early signs of burnout? Ooh,
So it's in a few ways. So definitely, as I have conversations and exchanges with people, just one listening, and not necessarily just volunteering information, but if the person is saying those trigger words, and I'm really like sharing little tidbits. If I hear, I'm having issues with sleep, well, okay, let's talk about it. If you want to share a little bit more, and from there, hey, sleep deals with this aspect of the body. It controls a lot. So
it
just the
does.
little conversations. So in the conversations and in my products as well, just different tutorials. Like I have little self care checklists and things that people can utilize to be able to help them, you know, learn about the early signs.
So, how can Black women, us being Black women, talking
Hmm.
to you, Black women out there, how can Black women begin to unlearn the pressure of carrying it all? And you mentioned earlier that that's what you saw in your family. So, do you have any tips on how we can unlearn that?
It is. I'm gonna. There are different ways, but I'm gonna say one of the most profound things that I did early on was learning that no was a full sentence. So, in starting to set boundaries and starting to hold myself accountable, those were like the things when it really started to click for me, that I needed to, if I had childhood trauma, that I needed to really take the time to deal with that. Or if, I noticed a pattern in an area of my life, I needed to really take some time to bring that to my attention. So, going back to your question, starting with no, starting with setting the boundaries, and being accountable, not only for yourself, but for, you know, the things that are happening to you.
No, that's good advice. So, what is one myth about self care that you wish more people would challenge?
The first thing that comes to my mind is self care is not selfish. Just because it says self in the word, baby, is not selfish. Because if you have a cup and it's empty, you're not able to do anything for yourself. You're not able to help others. You have to take care of yourself first in order to be able to help everybody else.
Good. And how has your self perception evolved as you have integrated your corporate role with your passion for wellness and self care?
Well, I would say that I for a lot of years associated myself with my corporate roles. So being an accountant or having an MBA and all those things. And it really has been to keep those things separate. You know, the corporate is helping me be able to do the things that I need to do, but I am a person, I am a mother, I am me, I am a being of love. You know, it just has made me have my own identity outside of my career.
That's good. Definitely want to have a. I agree with that. I sometimes now I say to people, instead of what do you do to make a living, I say what do you do to make life worth living?
Yes.
Because it's like, all right, yeah, you doing all these things, but what? How are you making your life worth living? We all have to make a living, but we don't always focus on making life worth living. So that I will always shift the focus when people are talking a lot about their jobs, which I'll listen to you talk about your job. I have no problem. I actually find it very interesting, especially in the world that I work in, because I meet a lot of people who do different things to make a living. Sometimes I am just intrigued how creative people I am. I get so I'm like, and people pay you for that? That's awesome. I'm serious. I met in one of our clients, um, they had this very interesting business. And I was like, people pay you to do this. And I saw the numbers. Yes, they do. But it was something I had never thought about. So I do actually find what people do quite interesting. But I also want to know, well, now that you're working hard and you're making all this money, what are you doing to make your life interesting? Worth worth living. So I try to do a balance of both because I'm a curious person by nature, hence having a podcast. I am very
Yeah.
curious about and I like people. Well, I'm open. I had to think about that. You know good well you don't like people. I do like people. I like most people. I like some people.
I get it.
You know, I'm a friendly person, and people automatically assume that I'm a people person. I just like to talk, and I like to hear what people got to say. That's what it really is. I'm gonna get a shirt that say that. I'm not friendly. I'm just nosy. I want to know what you're doing. How are you making money? How can I do that? I'm just nosy. I'm not really that friendly. I just want to know what you're doing. I want to get in your business. So that's that. And people get that confused. That's what I really need to tell people. I don't really care that much. I'm just nosy. So let's move on into our third pillar of hustle, redefining ambition and financial freedom. So I know you're still working in your corporate office. You said your corporate office helps build your business, which is great. A lot of us are raising my hand are doing that. Well, you have to do that. So what are some of the key lessons or skills you have carried over from your corporate experience into building your wellness business? And I can already know what you're gonna say. That's cool.
So I want to start with my very first job, and that was working at McDonald's many years ago. And it was the customer service. It was at the time McDonald's really focused on customer service, and that has always stuck with me. So I'm really big on
Oh,
providing a great customer experience in my business. Another thing is the wellness aspect. So working with a company that focuses on wellness, that really helps me to be able to carry it over. And then also just the corporate structure, the accounting, those operational items, that helps me fine tune what I do.
I can see that. Yes, 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 yes. That because those skills are transferable. You know, but that also is what makes you good at both because you got both strengths. And you can use it in your professional and you can use it in your business. And I love that. That's what I strive to be. That's what one of my it is. That's what I strive to be. So okay. So how has your definition? Oh, I love this question so much. How has your definition of success evolved?
So initially, I'll say over the years, success has been about material things. So it's been definitely about the money, about climbing the corporate ladder, getting the position. those type of things. But what I realize now, success for me is more about impact. So little things. I have a daughter, I have a granddaughter, and seeing them pursue their path in becoming entrepreneurs, for me, that is like, that's success for me. So I really equate it to having impact as opposed to the money. Now, don't get it twisted. The money
That's
is still
important.
nice to have,
It is.
but the impact, I enjoy it.
Yeah, because you got to have the money. That's how we take care of ourselves, take care of our families. That's how we're able to afford things. Unfortunately, you can't get things on good looks and good personality.
Ain't that the
Got
truth?
So this next question is about advice, and initially the question I thought about was, what advice would you give to women who are afraid to leave a stable job to pursue their passion? Instead of saying afraid to leave, what can you answer? What advice you would give to women who want to pursue their passion? Because you don't have to leave your corporate job.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
instead of saying you need to leave, talk about the advice you would give if they want to do it, but they're just afraid to even start.
yeah. So the thing about it is, you want to be able to have an idea about what you want to do, or where things that you might want to pursue. I would say definitely just don't leave. I've done that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I would say about 4 years ago, I was burnt out to the point of where I just couldn't take it anymore,
Oh
and
gosh.
I contemplated it for a couple of months, and I thought I had a plan. But when I left, I spent 6 months of really decompressing and attempting to find myself. When I say find myself for real, because I had the identity of working in the corporate environment and the accountant and all that stuff. But what I would say is, use use the working in that environment, as use it as the foundation, use it as the motivation. So identify the things that you're interested in doing. You want to utilize the resources that we have out here, because as Black women especially, we have corporations that want to invest in us, want to see us start businesses. So utilize places like SCORE, or the
Mm-hmm.
even with your bank. So I bank at a major bank, and a lot of the major banks, they have different programs that help as well. So yeah, utilize those type of resources that are big on helping people start businesses. Get a checklist, and just slowly work your checklist, and you put money aside for your business to help you.
That's
So
really good
yeah.
advice. I did not know of that about the bank.
Hmm.
I may have to look into that. Now, Score, yes. I have you ever used a Score mentor before? Oh wow. I started it when I first did my podcast, and I couldn't find anybody, but I'm glad that you brought that up, because not only do there's Score, and there's the I think Score also has training, free training, or I
Hmm.
might be thinking of small business. Yes. So like I go through their training. They have free training class. They have webinars. They have all these resources. I love that program,
Yeah.
because you can find if you can find somebody that will mentor you, but then they also have experts who do workshops. Sometimes you can get them in person, and some of them are recorded, and you can watch later. I
Yeah.
love
Even
that. That is such good advice.
and so I would say too, this the state, whatever state you're in, go to their website, and they would have like checklists, information to help you get started with the business. You have there's another organization. Verizon. Verizon has a small business where they have on demand trainings. They have webinars and stuff like that. So there are resources. So just to really sum up what I said, utilize those resources to get you
Yes.
started.
I love that. Utilizing the resource. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit, have a little fun. We're gonna do some rapid fire round. So okay. What's your favorite self care ritual?
This is really simple, but it is after a long day. I'm going to shut down everything. I'm going to take my shower and have me some tea.
Well, since you said tea, we know you are. The next was coffee or tea, but we already know yours is tea. So let's
Yes.
change that to what's your favorite tea?
Favorite tea. So, shameless plug, but I have a rose tea called Serenity. And that really is, yeah, Serenity. Yep.
What's the
That's my
flavor?
tea. So it's rose, so it's just really like light. It has that little, the little, yeah, I have to send you
I
some.
love it. I'm gonna have to taste that. All right, a wellness quote you live by.
So enjoy your day on purpose. That's one that I created. So
Oh, enjoy your day on purpose.
yeah.
I like that. All right, most rejuvenating retreat location.
So I'm gonna throw in a shameless plug. I'm gonna say the Stone
Uh-uh.
Mountain.
Stone Mountain. You
Stone
going to
Mountain. So I know there's some controversy with it. There is, for me, I visited Stone Mountain several times, and I'm saying it's just some place really close, but
Mhm.
it has serene aspects now. I
It
understand
does.
that there's a long history, that's tied to it, but it is, when I say you're in the city of Metro Atlanta, but Stone Mountain is like away. So it gives you that wooded area. It
It
gives you,
does. I
yeah.
used to take my children when they were younger. They're grown now, of course. We used to go there. I would pack like a little lunch for them, blanket, and because they have that area where the water's going through and the trees. So I agree with you. I will say this about me and Stone Mountain. I don't live close to there no more, so I don't go. But I would if I lived close, or if someone said, "Hey, you want to go?" It can't be nothing regular for me because I don't live near there. But I find other things that I can do. But I agree. I do like Snow Mountain. I agree with you about people have controversy, but I used to take my kids all the time because we used to live near there, and I loved it. So now, what I was trying to say to you was, are you walking up Stone Mountain, the actual way?
So I'm gonna say no, no, no. So I hike on occasion, and for me, I started out with the Kennesaw Mountain, which I'm working on getting to the top. So I know Stone Mountain is a little bit more of an incline. So
Yeah.
no climbing Stone Mountain.
I have not done Kennesaw Mountains. I've been, and and to be honest with you, I don't really know why. I think because I chase waterfalls, I look for inclines that's going to lead me to a waterfall, and
Hmm.
then that's a motivation for me to go. But that's really the only reason. It's not because I think it's hard. I just never really thought about it. Somebody brought it to my attention maybe last year or so, and I was like, oh, yeah. Then I was like, ain't got no waterfall. Why would I go? But I still would go. I've done.
I'm gonna
I have
say.
done hiking that do not have waterfalls. I like a good view,
Hmm.
but
So the Kennesaw Mountain, it has where you can drive up the mountain, and like I haven't done it this year, but last year, like I would just take my lunch and just drive up the mountain. It has a really nice view, so I would say at least check out,
yes, everybody told
the
me
mountains.
it just never crossed my mind because when I look for two things. It doesn't have doesn't end in a waterfall. And what's the view like? If depending on how I'm feeling, the view may not do it for me, but the waterfall will do it for me every time. Like, so I'm just gonna be looking at trees. I don't know if I want to see trees. So but I will do Kennesaw. I'm gonna have to now. People gonna be like, "You did Kennesaw? Yeah, I don't know, maybe." I'm gonna have to do it now. I'm gonna have to do it. God dang it! I shouldn't have said it. I might have to delete this part of the. I'm gonna have people be like, "I heard you talking about that." I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take
Oh,
this out. Delete, 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 delete. All right,
mm.
one book every ambitious, I can't say woman should read. I got a couple.
Okay, so this book is called We Should All Be Millionaires. It's by,
That was my book.
yes,
That's the book I was going to suggest. You got to think of another one. I'm just kidding. You got to think of another one because that's the one I was going to say. I'm just kidding. That is a great book. Do you know she has a new book out for young people?
no, what's it called?
Yes. I don't know.
Okay, you got to let me know.
I'll look it up because I
Okay.
listened to a two podcasts that she was on. Rachel Rogers, for those of you who don't know, why don't you know? That's number one. You should know. But Rachel Rogers, and I actually today was trying to get the book. Yeah, and it's on back order. I was like, what? I listened to the dang on podcast today, and now you telling me it's back. I seriously, I went on. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the dang on book. So I went to go order it for my kids, and it said it was on back order. So I don't even know if I can get it. And maybe if I try another website. I went to her website to get it. Future
Mhm.
Millionaire. That should have been easy to remember.
Ooh,
It's called Future Millionaire, for a young person. Something. Yeah. So look at us both liking the same thing.
yes.
She was my book to read this year. It's a young person step by step guide to making wealth inevitable. So when I heard her talk about it on the podcast I was listening to, Malik's podcast this morning when I was doing my walk this morning, it was the second time. She also was on Brown Ambition. That was the second time I heard her talk about that book, and I was like, I gotta go look this book up. And
Hmm.
today I went to go order it for my children, for my daughters, and it was back ordered. So that how wild is that we both have. So now look, ladies, you've got two people telling you get Rachel Rogers'
Yes.
book because she talks about mindset, and I love that. And she is correct. You got to change your mindset. You are what you speak. So we're gonna do some closing reflections. What would you say to your past overwhelmed self? Ooh,
So I would embrace her in a hug and I would let her know that, baby, it's going to be okay. And this too shall pass. Those are the main things that I would say.
oh, that is great. I like that you said I would give her a hug. Overwhelmed, you needed a hug. I
Yeah.
agree with that. So, what's next on your journey, and how can our community support you? So, this would be an opportunity for you to tell us more about that retreat.
So I have the Radiant Roots Retreat that's coming up in Stone Mountain, Georgia at the Atlanta Evergreen Lakeside Resort. It's going to be August 29th through 31st. It's for women, all women, and it essentially is a self-care retreat. We're going to have self-care services, including facials, massages. We'll have the sound bath, a cacao ceremony, and a number of workshops. So I invite you all to, hey, book that discovery call and come on to the retreat.
That cacao, I see. I didn't know about the cacao ceremony. You didn't. I didn't even get a chance to tell you because we stopped at the sound baths when I was
Mhm.
at your table. That's the other thing that I want to try. The
Yeah.
cacao.
What's it?
That I'm telling you, I was drawn to your table for a reason. I have been trying to go to. I saw a cacao ceremony on social media, and I've been chasing those. I'm picky. I need y'all to be close. And I couldn't find one close enough. I was like, oh, do I
Yeah.
want to drive that far? Because I've never done it. And so I am very interested in those cacao ceremonies. I've read about it, I've seen some online. So I am definitely going to have to do a ceremony. Like when I get curious about something, I'm like, I need to see what this is about.
Hmm.
I need to go. I need to see this up front. And that's how I
Yeah.
got into sound baths. I was seeing it, and then I was like, well, I don't know what this is. I mean, I get it, but I need to go see it in person. I need to experience it. And I love sound baths. So the other thing was the cacao ceremony. And I kind of get it, but I really want to be there to see what that's about.
Hmm.
So I love that for you. That
Yes.
retreat is going to be awesome. So if y'all want to go to the retreat, she can already tell us where can listeners connect with you or learn more about your work.
So I invite you all to visit my website. It is salyanaessentials.com, and that's SalyanaEssentials.com. So visit the website. There's a link on the homepage that goes to more information about the retreat. On the About page, you can find out more information about me. And we have the shop page that details about the products that I offer.
And those then that tea that she trying to hold back on people. That's
Yes.
I she y'all know about her tea goes so y'all can tell me how the rose tea tastes since she just refused to tell us all about it. That's okay though. Then we're gonna go and see. So that is gonna do it for our episode today. So everybody keep hiking, keep healing, keep hustling on your terms.
Yes.